Hi everyone! We're in beautiful Miami at Discover Boating Miami International Boat Show 2024. And this beautiful boat is Windelo 50.
So welcome on board. This is the Windelo 50 yachting. It's actually our premiere at the Miami Boat Show, US premiere, first boat show in the US. For us, super excited to have you guys on board and to be showcasing the boat. Windelo is about eco-construction of the boat with a new composite made of basalt fiber and recycled PET foam for the core. So it halves the production, the CO2 impact of production from a new boat. And then in her use, she's also self-sustained from renewable energies, which we'll talk about later. And then we've also rethought about life on board, sailing on board, so a lot of concepts we'd like to share with you today. So let's step on board. And first, whilst we're here, we can actually look at the engine room and locate the engine, which is actually pretty small, leaving a lot of space. Obviously we have a genset here in the hybrid setup, water maker, a lot of space behind for storage, and on the other side obviously we can build in dive compressors and lots of storage opportunities. So in terms of life on board, we figure that today we actually enjoy the comfort of our loft and have everything we like, being sheltered from the sun, so not grilling outside. And so we've organized life on a simple single floor plan from the cockpit all through the way to the terrace here. So this is the terrace in a, let's say, anchored situation. And when we're sailing, we lift all of this up, it becomes a very solid transom. And we still have a big loft to enjoy as being inside or outside of the boat, depending on how much we open and close everything. So a very, very modular setup, simple to live, seamless in terms of the floor plan, and everyone stays connected. Coming forwards, we can see how well the sailing cockpit and helm station is connected to the rest of life on board. So, you know, you'll find crews passing drinks or food back and forth, and even the cockpit becomes an extended socializing, entertaining area. With us, obviously, since we're on an electric hybrid powered catamaran, we have such an amount of battery power, but also renewable energies on board that cooking with induction, with an electric oven, operating a dishwasher, and a lot of refrigeration on board, is obviously a no-brainer. So no gas on board. We have different shapes of layouts actually for this arrangement here. One feature that stays and our clients really love is the day bed. So you can actually use this as a day bed, great air circulation as a place to chill, but also watch bed. You know, on watch, if your partner is in the cockpit, you know, you can be up here staying very connected and safe with each other. Let's go and tour the living spaces. And bearing in mind, you know, we're talking about a performance multi-hull here. She will sail in very light wind, starting from 3 knots of true wind. She'll match wind speed. She can also surf more than 20 knots downwind. And so the volumes that we're seeing here in terms of, you know, headroom, the amount of air, the amount of daylight that we're having here are pretty exceptional for that segment. So we've just seen the owner's stateroom with a queen size bed. This is obviously the 50 yachting. We do make a 54, which would offer an even more sizable, more ample cabin. And then if you'd like to go forwards, we are in a 3 cabin. So this is the owner's suite. They actually get a whole hull through the closet and then leading into this shower room. Lots of daylight, lots of air circulation in here. Storage or washing machine in here, and you can actually feel how cool it is down here, right? We've got the AC running, and we'll get back to that in a minute. Go across to the other side. So we have a sideways facing bunk. Obviously, depending on the layout that our owners will choose, this can change around. It can be a forward facing, very nice guest cabin as well. Lots of storage, all of the spaces throughout the boat that we're looking at, everything under the beds is storage, and there are lots of hidden storage compartments around. Freezer. Then we have separated the heads from the actual shower room. We figure that's nicer. People can spread out and using those different rooms as well. We have a shower room here and a head going into the other double cabin, which is also very nice. You'll notice the 2-meter long window here, so waking up to a fantastic view in an anchorage is key to us in all our cabins. So coming back to this interesting feature is the front cockpit. We call it front, but we're actually at the center of gravity of the boat here, so we figure it makes a lot of sense to organize the spaces where we're going to spend a lot of time, whether it's the cockpit or the galley, around that center of gravity, right? It's a lot less prone to movement than being outside in the aft or on the side of the boat. So a good place to stay for an extended period of time. The cockpit, operates all of the sailing of the boat. So short-handed, single-handed, you can hold the watch, you can effectively do all the maneuvers single-handed from the cockpit. If you're slightly overpowered, you can ease any sheet from here without having to ask someone around the boat or rush yourself around the boat to do it. Everything's within literally a footstep or a arm's length away. Great feature as well for families with kids, where most of our clients, families with kids sailing around the world perhaps, and they kids can join you if they wake up on a night watch. They can come and join you in the cockpit. There's no talk of life jackets or strapping on. You've closed the back of the boat, right? No one's going outside, and you can all meet here as with your partner or as a family. Very safe place to be in all types of weather conditions. Obviously, most of the time people will sail with this open and also the bay windows open as the weather gets harsher, or if you want to keep the inside of the boat quiet and separate from the sailing, you can close these doors, and then progressively you'll be closing some of the front, particularly when the weather's wet. But we find at Windelo, I've virtually never used my wet weather gear anymore ever again. So very nice cockpit up here. We can talk a little bit about the electric hybrid drive. So first of all, we have 2 20 kilowatt engines that we saw in the engine room with their displays here. You manage the hydro generation from here. They will hydrogenerate at 12 knots of boat speed. 10-12 knots is sort of the sweet spot. We'll be hydrogenerating 2 kilowatts of power. And then of course our aim is to be sustainable from renewable energies. So we actually have also the solar array where you can see all of the different groups of solar here and what they're doing at the moment. We're actually under some significant cloud cover right now. And in terms of the schematics, we have AC running, and that's consuming quite a lot. So we have a slightly negative balance now. But as soon as that cloud goes away, we've been running AC at the boat show only from solar and charging the boat at the same time. So there's no concern with this being negative. it's going to come back up as soon as that cloud is gone. So we don't, we don't hook up the shore power at boat shows, which is a fantastic thing. Shall we go and look outside at some of the sailing? So we've just walked all the way up the bows, right? And these are long bows. I mean, she's a performance multi-hull, so she's longer than she is beamy in terms of that typical ratio. We have inverted and angled in bows. So an interesting look at the boat is from across the dock over there. You'll see the sporty performance character of the boat. Long trampoline, mast stepped far back on the boat. And then we have dagger boards, which you can see here, central to the hull and vertical, which means that you can use both at the same time, and they're both having a positive effect when going upwind. So these boats, 12 tons light for the 50 foot, generous sail area, performance hulls. They will sail from 3 knots of true wind. You will be sailing matching wind speeds upwind. And then the range is, surfing at more than 20 knots downwind in good wind conditions. So definitely in that segment. And what we like to do is keep the boats nevertheless easy to single hand or shorthand. So we have a self-tacking Solent with the mast stepped this far back. It's very generous. It's more than 40 square meters of self-tacking sail. So that keeps your single-handed watches fairly neat and simple. But then, of course, out on the bowsprit, you can use Code Zero and Jenica, and the angles on the Code Zero are pretty good, up to 55 degrees apparent. Upwind on the Solent, it's a 33 degree apparent, so good monohull performance actually that we're getting from this Catamaran. We can see here the array of solar, right? We've been talking about our positive energy balance, even running aircon at the show. And you can appreciate here how beautifully the solar has been designed into the shape of the deck and of the roof. And speaking of the roof, obviously great access as well to the when you're sailing passage. I won't say day, but sailing passage is over. Great access to the boom and to the lazy bag to put everything away. That's at waist height, very practical. We've talked about solar, we've talked about electric engines. So the use case of these boats is to be self-sustaining from green energies at any given time. Now, obviously, with 6,000 watts of solar on the deck, supporting a family's life on board is a no-brainer, right? Even with all the comfort on board, you're even charging for your propulsion. Sailing with the hydro generation plus the solar is also a no-brainer. The boat will constantly have a positive energy balance, and will be charging, or if charged, will just keep its positive energy balance. Now, we did say it's an electric hybrid setup, so we do have a generator on board, and we do have diesel on board for the sort of all else fails type of situation, or where you do need to motor, or where there's been no wind, no sun, and for whatever reason you are motoring for an extended period of time. So the diesel tanks are actually set up here up front, and we can't see behind the fenders, but we never fill them up. There is a very minimal amount of diesel in those tanks because we don't get to use it. We actually have some pretty interesting testimonies from our owners. The boats have done 7 transatlantics now, and we've been building boats for effectively delivering boats for 3 years, so that's a reasonable experience. 7 transatlantics, and our clients talk about donating diesel when they complete their transatlantic because they're simply not using it. With Windelo, it's about making a boat that is in the performance multi-hull segment of the market for sure. Different in terms of its sailing properties with the front cockpit, a lot of safety and a different approach to life on board and sailing. But all that with moving the market to a greener place, both in terms of the build of the boat from the eco-composite made from basalt. We talked about that reduces by half the CO2 footprint, and the use of the boat, being sustainable from green energies in most of your use cases. And that's what Windelo is about. So remember to vote for us, please, at the Multi-Hull of the Year Award.
Thank you so much. Great tour.
Thank you.
Thank you.